Okay, we continue on with this segment here of Movie Minute with the Movie Tyme Guys, and I'm here with Richard Schmidt, and he was in the movie Winter's Hymns.
That's right.
And I'm glad you come. Thanks you for you traveled up from Kenosha, right?
Kenosha, yep.
Kenosha.
Yeah, currently in Kenosha. Grew up near Green Bay, small town Bondwell.
Ooh, Bondwell, up north.
Up north
Bondwell,
there.
yeah, up north there in Bondwell.
Exactly.
So, what are you doing now? I know we'll talk about Winter's Hymn, but what are you doing now?
Yeah, so I've got a few projects. I just wrapped a 48-hour film project.
Oh.
I've got some choreography I've done recently, some fight scenes, which is just building the resume.
And I can see that. I'm looking.
I wore a small shirt today as well, so you'd ask about that, of course.
No extra charge for the gun show.
But my day job is actually hard to explain. I work for a small startup that is in medical devices.
Oh, okay.
Their headquarters is in Boston.
Okay.
And I'm able to work remote. So I'm remote. I was actually out there last week, and I try to get there once a month or so, just to work with folks. And primarily I'm working with other pharmaceutical companies, and that's really what I do in my day job. So a little different than acting or wearing small shirts.
I'm a carpenter by trade, and then I do this. So
perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So, whether you're a ditch digger or whatever you are, you gotta pay the bills while we're all trying to figure out and get discovered, right?
There you go.
So tell us a little bit about Winter Hymns. I mean, earlier in the segment you saw where we were interviewing Nathan, and to me it just seems powerful.
Yeah. It really is powerful. So I went to I'll start at the end maybe. I went to the screening, and they had that in Madison, and my sister, Mary, actually came down with a friend, and we didn't know, right? So when we filmed, we were the last scene on the last day of production, as far as I know how the story goes. So we didn't get to meet, Colleen, the main actress, and things like that. So it was us in the theater was the first time we saw it. We didn't meet many of the other actors, right? So that was the first time we got to see sort of the gravity of the entire production and everything that Nathan had done in putting that together. And yes, powerful. And it's such a, I was moved and I was impacted, not by my acting, of course, but also by, not by my acting, of course, but also the movie itself.
Yeah.
But it works its way through like these very difficult or challenging phases in these different characters' lives, which we all at some level will have to go through and work our way through. And for me, it's just interesting to think about, having that as a knowledge or a base that I could refer to just in my own personal life, and then seeing the talent, and then going back, to the art, and then seeing the talent on screen, and meeting folks that had very convincing on screen, meeting them in person. It's like, oh wow, you're a human like me, and man, what was that journey like? And being able to have those conversations. So it was powerful, impactful. I know I say that a lot for my art, of course, but I mean, not a dry eye in the theater, and you walk out of there with appreciation, with gratefulness, thankfulness, and there's like a part of me that wants to tell that story, and I know the movie's doing a great job of it itself, but it was very powerful for me.
Yeah, and I mentioned to Nathan, I'll mention to you too, my wife was a hospice nurse. She's retired now, but my wife was a hospice nurse, so this really hit home for us too. One thing that was difficult for me to grasp, which she would come home and talk so relaxed and open about it. And the subject of dying and death is not a subject that a lot of people talk about, especially because you just don't know how to, when you know that you're meeting someone, they're in hospice or they're terminal, it's, you don't want to gush, how is it going? Because you don't want to be pitiful to them, because they're not looking for that either.
Right.
They know. And so the way she would deal with it, and again, she just said it was just so rewarding. So I'm super excited to really see the whole film.
Yeah. I feel like it's a great opportunity for folks that, maybe are younger or haven't had to meet some of those things, those challenges head on, to do it in I'll use these words, in a safe space where you can experience these emotions and work through them in a systematic, programmatic type of way based on the film itself. But that's really interesting.
Yeah. Well, and I mentioned this earlier too, it's the power of the suggestion that takes you, because that's really, and I do independent film acting too, and you want to create the character, and our job is to take the person who's watching it and put them somewhere else. So if they're reliving a loss, or they know that this person is gonna pass. Our job's to pick them up and take them somewhere else, even if it's just for a little while. Yeah. And so that power of suggestion, that's why when he put it in one room, you never leave this room, but yet it all came together and it was all so powerful because of the suggestion of all these actors and then you kind of come together as a team, and I know how it goes. And I think I love the concept. I think the concept was, because I asked Nathan, I said, where did did that start out that way? He said very quickly after the writing, he realized that's how he wanted to do it. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. So what else, what's your next project you got?
I've got there's a Scooby-Doo film coming up at end of Scooby-Doo fan film, I'll say, end of May, that I'll be a part of. I'll be the bad guy, apparently, which is fine. And I'll also be wearing a giant one of those old-timey scuba masks. Is the next big thing. But I'm looking forward. I'd like to get back in the theater. I did some theater work a little bit ago.
Live theater?
Yeah. Completely different. I recommend for anybody that's wanting to go to film. I mean, theaters, it's like one of those things you have to do just to understand. There is no stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting that pressure out of the way, but
you don't get the oops.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you just go. We'll do it live type of deal.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you stopping.
Thank you.
Have a safe trip back. Oh yeah, and I'm sure we're going to bump into you and see you in that chair sometime in the future again.
That'd be great.
Thanks again for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time on another Movie Time Minute.